Empire, we're here with current world champion, two-time world champion, I should say, from Germany, Marc Rheinard of Team Tamiya. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
You're welcome, thank you.
Originally get started in the hobby of RC racing.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, like 1995. My father built their own RC track for indoor and outdoor driving, just for on-road, and has a hobby shop in the area. And yeah, that's how I got started. So I got directly into the RC business and just drove from there on.
And did you start racing competitive events right away, or Tamiya events, or how did you eventually get into the competitive side of racing?
Yeah, I think in 1995 I started with Tamiya Cup, and in 96 I drove the first European Junior Championship in Switzerland, and yeah.
Now, recently the cars have switched from normal batteries to LiPo packs. How has that really changed the car and the handling and the way that you approach driving?
Yeah, I think all the companies had some work to do with finding a different chassis that has the weight balance in the car different than with the cells, because the LiPo was way lighter than the normal cells. But right now I think everybody just made a new chassis and they got it done pretty good.
To get it adapted, of course. Now, a lot of times we see at the races with the number 33 on your back. What does that mean? A lot of people have asked.
Yeah, I wanted to make my own logo because maybe I make some products for myself to sell. And yeah, the 33 was my number when I won the second time the World Championship in Thailand. So my registration number and tire number. So I just choose this number.
Speaking of international racing, how do you travel all over the world racing all sorts of big races from Europe to Japan to the US? How do you compare driving in big races in different countries? Do you feel that one country is more competitive, or do you have a different approach?
Yeah, I think in the past we as Europeans look always up to the US and to the Japanese drivers because they were always on top. But suddenly, I think a couple of years ago, it's almost changed. There are many good drivers in Europe. Every time we have a big race, there are always 10 people who can win the race. So it's also pretty good now in Europe. Speaking
of big races, we see Kyo Suzuki, your mechanic, working on the cars a lot. A lot of people want to know, do you ever work on your own cars, or does he pretty much go to all the races?
He goes to the big races and he takes care of it. But on the normal races in Europe, where like the European Championship, he's there. But like German Nationals or ETS races, I'm on my own. So we work in the team together, like Victor, Wheeler's me.
Yeah. Do you practice much, or do you just only go to big races and start from the beginning at the big race?
Normally I just go to big races, just maybe 2 days before, and just practice a little bit on the track, because when I come home from a big race, I want to
just relax,
rest there, exactly, and just do something else in the sea.
Do you test for Tamiya as well, like the products, or do you only test like the competitive products at the races?
Sometimes I send some prototype stuff to test, but usually they test it and then they bring it to a race and then we use it together, but not that I develop something.
Now let's talk about serious competitive racing. This year is the Worlds, obviously in your home country of Germany. Do you think that gives you any type of advantage?
I don't think so. Last time I was there for a race was like 4 or 5 years ago for the German Nationals, so it's also not so close to my hometown. And also the weather right now is not so good to go for practicing, but yeah, I mean, it's my home country, so I try my best.
Besides yourself and Hara, obviously the two of the best drivers in the world, number 1 and 2 last year, who else do you also see as a threat for the World Championship this year?
I think there are many who can win the Worlds, especially now Ronald Volker when he changed to Como. He's
very
pretty
fast.
Tough. He won many races right now in front of us, and yeah, Victor Welk, there will be many drivers who will be on
definitely.
Top.
So you've won World Championships, Reedy races, everything. What's left? What kind of goals do you have? Are you considering driving other scales, or do you just want to keep piling on the victories in the touring cars?
Yeah, for sure I want to win as many as I can in the same class. Doesn't matter if I won it already before, but I will also go with Nitro 10 skills this year on road and a little bit electric off-road.
Sure.
So I want to do better in off-road, so maybe I go next year for some more off-road races, because the Worlds is next year for off-road.
Sure.
Need to get used to it, but you see the drivers in the US are on top for off-road.
Is it tough to adapt to off-road when you do on-road so much?
I think just the jumps were getting better, but just on dirt tracks when you have to drift around and get it still on throttle and fast, this makes it difficult. On asphalt it's okay, but...
Well, best of luck to you in the future. Good luck at the Worlds, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.